everyone, it is Miss Karen. Guess what? We're going to play today. It's like my favorite thing. It is the letter T in our alphabet, and we have worked up to trains. And I have Thomas the tank engine here. I also have Percy. Percy's a hard worker, huh? And guess who else do I have? I have James. Hey, look, there's James. He's a hard-working engine, just like Thomas. I didn't get enough track. My track is actually where I can't get to it right now, and my kitchen is flooded. So, you got to work with me here, okay? So, we got some engines. Okay. Okay. How do I line them up? Maybe that way. Be there, engines. I have, like, Harvey here, who, like, he loads things, you know, from the dock. I like Harvey. And then, what else do I have in my box? Oh, I have Clarabelle and Annie. You know, the passenger ones that sometimes Thomas, gets to pull. Yay. And then, let's see, who else do I have? I have Sodor Mining. Oh, looks like they've been pulling out some gold, maybe. And then, it's not Diesel, but it's one of Diesel's friends. It's Salty. I think it's one of Diesel's friends, isn't it? You know, it's been so long since I've read some of the Thomas stories. But we are going to read a Thomas story right now. Maybe even a couple of them. And we are going to line our little engine friends up here. Okay. I have to line them up so they don't fall off the table. Hang on. Let me see if I can figure this out a little better. There. Beep, 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 beep. Okay. So they're going to sit there. And they are going to listen. Hey, Harvey, where'd you go? Come here, Harvey. Beep. I'm going to get Harvey up here. I need a little more track. They don't fall down. And you know what? Let's let Salty listen. Okay? Salty can listen too. Yeah. And then, oh, we got a chicken crossing the road. Okay? Okay, so what are we going to read today? How about Thomas Goes Fishing? Okay, so this is one of the Step Into Reading series. These are really great. They have numbers on them to help you kind of figure out your reading level. So these are really great first readers. So we like pre-K up to, you know, through first grade, even second grade. These are great for reading. I think they have one that says like a pre on the end of it. This one's a level 1, so this should be like a kindergarten first grade. Okay, so let's step into reading with Thomas Goes Fishing. This is based on the Railroad series by Reverend W. Audrey. And so, oh, here comes Thomas. Thomas chugged by the river. He saw children fishing. Boop. Beep, beep, Thomas said. The children waved. Bye. I wish to fish, said Thomas. An engine fishing, said the driver. Oh, that's funny. Each day, Thomas saw the children, and each day, Thomas wished to fish. Hi, Thomas. One day, Thomas stopped. Oh dear, he said. My boiler hurts. Uh-oh. The driver looked inside the boiler. It was empty. Uh-oh. The driver filled Thomas' boiler with water from the river. So this is going to take some time because he's got to haul it in and then he's got to dump it into the little top where the water would go in. So he's just kind of giving him a little drink, really not filling him up. Soon they were chugging along. Beep, beep. Thomas stopped again. Said Thomas, my boiler feels funny. The driver looked into the boiler, and it was not empty. What are those? Uh-oh. Thomas has got fish in his boilers. He's being tickled from the inside. There was water in the boiler, but that wasn't all. There were fish, too. I wonder what it's like to be tickled from the inside. Thomas had an idea. He peeped loudly. Peep, 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 peep. The children came to see Thomas, running, just waving. The children could fish in the river. The driver, he could fish in Thomas. And that is what they did. Silly driver. Beep, beep. The end. Okay, so that book was kind of short. I have a whole bunch of Thomas books. Shh. Okay, and we have our happy little engines here, and they're waiting for stories. There we go. So let us read about a cow on the line and other stories. So I'm going to guess, who's the green engine? Okay, look, there's the cow. We have a chicken on our line. But who's the green engine? Do you remember? Who's this one? Beep, beep. It's Percy. Okay? So let's see what Percy has. Actually, I think Edward might be red too, but I think this one's Percy. So a cow on the line. So double trouble. Ooh. It was a beautiful morning on the island of Sodor. Thomas the Tank Engine's blue paint sparkled in the sunshine as he puffed happily along his branch line with Annie and Clarabelle. He was feeling very pleased with himself. "Hello, Thomas," whistled Percy. "You look splendid." "Yes, indeed," boasted Thomas. "Blue is the only proper color for an engine." "Oh, I don't know. I like my brown paint," said Toby. "I've always been green. I wouldn't want to be any color either," added Percy. Well, well, anyway," huffed Thomas. "Blue is the color for a really useful engine. Everyone knows that." Percy said no more. He just grinned at Toby. Later, Thomas was resting when Percy arrived. A large hopper was loading his freight cars full of coal. Thomas was still being cheeky. "Careful," he warned. "Watch out for those silly cars." Go on, muttered the cars. "And by the way," went on Thomas, "those buffers don't look very safe to me." The last load poured down. "Help, help!" cried Thomas. "Get me out!" Percy was worried, but he couldn't stop laughing. Thomas's smart blue paint was covered in coal, dust from the smoke box to bunker. Said Percy. "You don't look really useful now, Thomas. You look really disgraceful." "I'm not disgraceful," joked Thomas. "You did that on purpose. Get me out." It took so long to clean Thomas that he wasn't in time for his next train. Toby had to take Annie and Clarabelle. "Poor Thomas," whispered Annie to Clarabelle. They were most upset. Thomas was grumpy in the shed that night. Toby thought it was a great joke, but Percy was cross with Thomas for thinking he had made his paint dirty on purpose. Fancy a really useful blue engine like Thomas becoming a disgrace to Sir Topham Hatt's railway. Next day, Thomas was feeling more cheerful as he watched Percy bring the cars from the junction. The cars were heavy, and Percy was tired. "Have a drink," said his driver. "Then you'll feel better." The water column stood at the end of the siding with unsafe buffers. Percy suddenly found that he could not stop. The buffers didn't stop him either. Oh, well, Percy, help! The buffers were broken, and Percy was deep in coal. It was time for Thomas to leave. He had seen everything now. Percy has learned his lesson too. He chuckled to himself. That night, the two engines made up their quarrels. I did cause your accident on purpose, Thomas, whispered Percy. You do know that, don't you? Of course, replied Thomas, and I'm sorry I teased you. Your grain paint looks splendid again, too. In the future, we'll both be more careful of coal.